Okay, hey guys. It's been a while. Let's just pretend we live in a universe where I upload consistently and regularly.
Boy, if you don't see
It has recently come to my attention that Five Nights at Freddy's had turned 10 years old. Now, at first, if I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, I mean, I cared, but it's like I didn't really care that much, that I had turned 10. Because I knew that, it was getting old. I knew. Because by that point, like, at least a month before that, like a month ago, the Five Nights at Freddy's one official trailer was uploaded 10 years ago. So I was ready for this to happen, so I wasn't really surprised. But yeah, it's come to my attention that Five Nights at Freddy's, the series, specifically the first game, has turned 10 years old today. Now, normally I wouldn't be making a video, especially after 8 months. I wasn't really planning on uploading anything for God knows how long. But after thinking about it and talking to some friends, I never really thought about how long 10 years is. I mean, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, 10 years is literally nothing, you know? And sometimes it doesn't feel like nothing, but at the same time, if you think about it, a lot can happen in 10 years. You know, it really depends on who you ask how long 10 years is. But I think we can all agree, most people can agree, that a lot can happen in 10 years. Definitely. So yeah, at least the way I see it, I wouldn't classify 10 years as being back in my day, not that old, but it's been a while, it's been a while since the first game originally released. Now, I decided that since Five Nights at Freddy's has turned 10 years old and a lot of thinking, I decided to go back and watch Markiplier's infamous Five Nights at Freddy's 1 video. Because believe it or not, that is the video that got me into Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, allow me to, give some background information on how I got into this. Because I want y'all to, if you still have if you still have a decent attention span, I want y'all to sit back and just, hear my side of how I got into Five Nights at Freddy's. So, it was late one night, and the first day of school was starting up. It was gonna start, tomorrow. So, I was 6 at the time, so I must have been in, like, kindergarten. No, I was in first grade. So, it was the day before the first day of first grade, and it was getting dark out. It must have been, like, around, like, 6 or 7. I don't really remember. But I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but I remember I was watching, like, some kids shit. I don't remember. And out of nowhere, I got a really strange recommendation to a Five Nights at Freddy's video, which I had said before was the Markiplier's very first Five Nights at Freddy's video he'd ever done. And I had that on my recommendations. And I saw that, and it was so out of place, and it caught my attention. The thumbnail was weird looking, but it caught my interest. And low-key, the more I stared at the thumbnail, I remember being extremely confused, but I got a little curious, and I decided to check the video out for myself. And I got greeted with the most infamous intro that will ever stay in my mind.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that you guys suggested en masse, and I saw that Yamimash played it and he said it was really, really good. So I'm very eager to see what is up, and that is a terrifying animatronic bear, family pizzeria looking for a security guard to work the night shift. Oh, 12 a.m., the first night. If I didn't want to stay the first night, why would I stay any more than 5? Why would I stay any more than 2? Hello.
Yeah, that intro right there, I bet many of us, if you're still watching this video and you know what I'm talking about, I bet many of us can recite that video almost perfectly. Because it's so iconic. I mean, it has like, what, 122 million views? But anyways, I was watching the video and I remember everything so vividly in my head. it's weird. You think I was weird. I mean, I am, but that's besides the point. I remember everything about the video. You know, Markiplier, he was freaking out at how creepy and dark the place looked. And I remember when I saw that for the first time, I wouldn't say I was creeped out because that wasn't really my first exposure to anything scary in terms of on YouTube. Because think about it, I was a 6-year-old kid who had unsupervised internet access. So I've seen PewDiePie play Amnesia. You know, I've seen a few horror gameplays in my time, so this was nothing new, but this was my first time I encountered Markiplier. And I remember he was like freaking out because I wasn't scared. It was just kind of freaky, you know? Because FNaF 1, in terms of it being like as scary as the other games, it's one of the scariest in my opinion. Now, I know I don't think a whole lot of people will understand that. They'd be like, oh, FNaF 4 is the scariest. But FNaF 1, I wouldn't say it's the scariest in the series, but it's the creepiest. Yes, it's the creepiest. Because when you're checking, especially when it first came out, it threw so much options on the table. It was such a new thing, right? This broke the internet like the first week it came out. And that's for a good reason. It was so unique. And it was just so dark, atmospheric, and creepy. And I just remember getting the chills by, like, watching Markiplier, just watching the cameras as the phone guy was talking to him, and the camera just slowly, like, panning around the animatronics on the stage, and the dark, party rooms and all that. And, I remember so much things. Like, I remember, for example, I know this may sound weird, but I remember when Bonnie activated. Bonnie was the first one to wake up for the large majority of Night 1. And I have this weird memory, and it stuck with me for a while when I first got into the game, and still today. When Bonnie's in the dining room, he's like off in the distance, like in the darkness a little bit, just like blankly staring. And that always, that freaked me out, that thing. Because the camera's just like panning around the dark, empty dining room, and he's just there with like a blank stare on his face. And I was 6, so I didn't know if you could see them move. It kind of reminded me of Elf on the Shelf because, you know, when you weren't looking, they'd move around, and that was creepy in my opinion. But I remember Bonnie just like moving around and freaking him out. And I remember the power went out in Markiplier's room, and in the office. He ran out of power because he was closing the doors and shit. He was being paranoid. And he almost died that night, but he clutched it. And I think the most infamous part, in my opinion, in the entire series, in the entire series that Markiplier filmed, and in that entire episode, was Foxy jump scaring him at the end. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't want to run out of power. Oh, the sounds, I don't like them. Ah, fuck! No! Oh, no! Ah, fucking fuck! I tried to push it! Oh, my God! Oh! Oh! Oh, game over indeed!
I remember, every time I go back to that video, I just rewatch it over and over again because... Dude, okay, so I was watching that video, and I wasn't a sneaky kid, so my volume was decently high, and Markiplier, I remember he was freaking out, and then Foxy ran into the room and just jump scared him, and the scream was so fucking loud. My daddy heard Foxy screaming from across the house, and Markiplier cussing up a storm like he just saw, and this dude somehow from across the entire house just heard Foxy screaming and Markiplier cussing up a storm. He ran into my room, and I remember he got so mad. He was about to spank me with the belt. He was about to get the belt out, and he just took my tablet away for the rest of the night, and I had to sleep early. When I find myself going back to that video, man, when I find myself going back and rewatching that, I usually replay that Foxy part with him running down the hallway so many times, and I bet that's the same way for so many other people. And I'm glad that's how I was exposed to FNaF at Freddy's. It's like, you know, FNaF at Freddy's had changed my life. It really has. It changed my life. I know it sounds cringy. It is, to an extent, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. It definitely had changed my life for the better. And I do believe that when that video popped up on my recommendations, because like I said, it was so out of place, because I would mainly watch kids stuff. It was so out of place, and it was just there. I remember it just being there. And I clicked on it, and I was like, some higher force was like calling me, like, oh, watch this video, and I'm glad I clicked on that video. I'm glad I got into FNaF as soon as I did, because so school, usually, ever since I've been going to school for the longest time, it usually started in early till mid-August. So if I'm calculating this right, the video by then was at least a few days old to a week in my closest calculations, because it came out on like what, the 12th or the 13th. So yeah, I don't remember exactly when I watched it, because it's been 10 years. But I know for a fact that I got into FNaF pretty early, and I'm happy for that, man, because I've been on this train for 10 years almost, and it's been one wild ride. Look, there's been obviously the FNaF community. It's not the best community out there, in my opinion. And I've had an on and off relationship with the game series. You know, it's been an on and off thing. My family thought I was always, for the longest time, hyper fixated on it. Which, I mean, it was like that for a while. But it's like, I'd get into it, I'd get out, I'd get bored. And then something would throw me back into it, you know what I mean? And man, when I think about how long it's been, I just remember when I got into FNaF Freddy's. I watched, like, SFMs of it all the time. I'd watch SFMs. Y'all remember those old models? Those old Source Filmmaker models? I don't remember exactly, who made the models and what the models are called, but I'll put an image up right now. Yeah, I used to see those models all the time. And again, it's been 10 years, and not only have we grown up, but the series has grown up, you know, because back in the day, when the game first came out, you know, we had some pretty dog water FNaF games, you know, most of them were pretty shit and lazy. You know, I mean, occasionally we'd have, like, a game like One Night at Flumpty's show up. I remember when that first came out. Markiplier also got me into that. I remember when that came out. Five Nights at Candy's was also another one that came out that was decently good for its time. Those were the only two things I could think of. But there's also some pretty shitty ones. Like, looking back, Five Nights at Thomas was pretty shitty. It was ass. But, like, and then we look at today, and I mean, yeah, there's still some pretty shitty FNaF fan games made by kids. But FNaF fan games, for the most part, they've definitely evolved. And the models as well, like I was getting to. You know, I brought up the models because not only have the games evolved, but the models have evolved. Because, again, those old models, compared to the ones today, yeah, as the years went on, we got better at modeling. Like, when you look at especially the old Springtrap models, Jesus Christ, those things were shitty, man. And I thought they were accurate. Man. It's wild, though. I've seen the community evolve. I've been in this community for a decent amount of time, for a long time. I've been on this train ride for a long-ass time, and I'm glad. And I've seen a whole lot of things go down. If we just put the drama aside for a second, like all the drama, you know, with game creators like Jonachrome or Scott Cawthon, you know. If we just put all the drama aside for a second, you know, there's a whole lot of good that came out of this community. There's a whole lot of skilled people that let their creativity shine because of this franchise. And, you know, my channel was mainly based on FNaF fan game content, you know? And because of that, I've met a whole lot of people because of Five Nights at Freddy's, technically. Because, again, I was mainly a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game, you know, YouTuber. I mean, occasionally I'd record something else, but, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, I definitely love playing the fan games for the most part. The fan games were pretty fun to play for YouTube. And I just remember playing, like, Five Nights at Froggies and stuff like that, and meeting a whole bunch of cool people. Yeah, so yeah, if you think about it, Five Nights at Freddy's had made me meet the boys, you know? I met the boys from FNaF fan games. I met a whole bunch of cool people. I've built a whole bunch of relationships, you know? And I can't help but thank Scott Cawthon and all the people I've met and build relationships with over this game. And, you know, it's wild to see it hit 10 years. You know, some people are like, 10 years. I don't really care. But it's like, to me, this game has held a special place in my heart for the longest time. But to see it go this far and get this popular, and it's still relative today, is just absolutely mind-boggling, man. Five Nights at Freddy's is still extremely popular today, and I'm glad. Again, I'm not into Five Nights at Freddy's as much as I was when I was a kid, you know. But yeah, it's heartwarming seeing this community come together for the 10 years. And if you still stuck around in this video and you agree with everything I said, thanks a lot. Don't expect me to upload consistently or regularly. But yeah, you don't have to subscribe or anything. You can just, you know, if you agree or relate to anything I was talking about in the video, you can comment that down below. I don't know how to end this video. I'm not sure if I want to, because, I mean, right now, man, just talking about this is making me feel real good. You know, I'm proud to be a member of in this community, you know. I don't care what anyone says. This community, it's durable, it's tough, and no matter what happens, we move on, we put the drama beside us, and we have fun. That's what a community is supposed to be. A community, we come together, we have fun, and this is what we're doing, you know? 10 years. That's crazy. You know, when the FNaF movie came out, you know, I've waited 9 years for that shit to drop. Because I remember back in, like, 2015, I remember being so excited because I see these fake Five Nights at Freddy's leaks. If you see the images on screen and you were around during that time, you probably remember what I'm talking about and you probably recognize these. But man, dude, I thought that shit was legit. Bro. I waited 9 years for that joint to come out, and when it did, man, yeah, the movie was, I'm gonna keep it a buck, the movie was really cheesy, it had some really cheesy moments. But man, you know, seeing, you know, footage of people, like, cheering in the movie theater when something happened, like a reference, like the Mad Patter Corey Kenshin, man, that was cool. Let's just forget about that fight in the movie theater, with the FNaF movie, you know what I'm talking about. But, and I heard that they're working on a second FNaF movie, and I've seen some, leaks of it, and I'm not talking about the fake leaks, like, there's actual, like, photos of them building the most accurate looking real-life FNaF models I've ever seen. They are so accurate, and it's amazing how far this series has come, to the point where there's movies being made about it, with skilled people letting their creativity shine. It's just so amazing. But yeah, I'm yapping. Yeah, feel free, to comment down below about what you think. I'm recording this in my car. I don't want to be seen in my bedroom talking to myself, you know, talking to my phone. I'm going to look a little weird, so I just came in my car. It's kind of hot. Should have cranked it on, but whatever, it's fine. But, yeah, I'm going to end the video here. If y'all agree with what I said, feel free to comment down below. Subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, again, because I haven't uploaded in such a long-ass time. But, yeah, man, if you want to support the channel, go ahead. Go right on ahead. No one's stopping you. But, yeah, man, you know, take care, man. I can't wait to see, you know, there's gonna be it's been a bumpy road the past 10 years, and it's gonna continue to be a bumpy road. You know, there's gonna be more drama coming out, but, you know, at the end of the day, man, let's just celebrate, you know. It's been 10 years. Like, to some people that's not a lot, but to me and a whole lot of other people, man, that's crazy. See you guys later, man. And when I mean by later, I don't mean, like, within the next, like, day or so. No, it's gonna be, like, a month since I last uploaded. Anyways, I'm yapping, man. I'm gonna end the video. See y'all.